Welcome everyone to Life Lessons from Movies, presented by my organization, the Zen of Hollywood, and me, your host, David MacKay. In this segment, we extract life lessons from movies and then use simple, practical tips to help us improve our lives and become happier, which I believe we all desire. Okay, today's theme is how to deal with a difficult parent. And we'll examine this relevant theme through the good film, Leave No Trace, starring Thomasin McKenzie and Ben Foster. Please know there are spoilers ahead. Okay, this film focuses on this man, this war veteran, who's now living in the United States, but he has post-traumatic stress disorder that doesn't allow him to reintegrate into society, right? So he and his 13-year-old daughter, Tom, end up living in this urban park in Portland, Oregon. Of course, that's illegal, and when they're found by authorities, they are moved into society, given a new start through this social program. But every time this happens, Will moves him and his daughter back into the woods. Well, at one point, Tom says, enough is enough. She needs community. She needs that connection, especially for a 13-year-old who is growing and developing. She wants friends. And so she tells her father, with a broken heart, that this is the end, that she's separating from him. And she goes back into the community to live. And even though Will wants to do the same, he loves his daughter, he can't bring himself to do so. Now, this film really represents this topic well, how to deal with difficult parents, even though Will has good intentions. And quite often our parents have good intentions, of course, but they still can be difficult, and we need to know how to deal with them when this happens. So let's talk about this. The first tip is to understand what I just alluded to before, that people are doing the best they can with the emotional skills, knowledge, and level of consciousness at which they are. We're all doing the best we can, really. We don't try to be difficult, but it ends up coming out that way when we don't have that level of consciousness or emotional skills that we need. So we need to keep this in mind because this helps us have compassion for our parents, right? So we can stop from taking their actions personally. Step number 2 is we need to address our unresolved emotional wounds. That is the personal pain from our past. If we don't do so, we're going to react to the difficult behavior of our parents or primary caregivers, right, with our own pain. And nothing is ever going to be resolved. There will be nothing constructive to come from this. So I'm not going to go into all the details about how we can do that, but inner child work is one way to do this, and I've talked about this modality in past videos, and I'll continue to do so in future videos. Step number 3 is we need to establish and meet our own emotional needs. Now, quite often we don't know about emotional needs because, well, as children and adolescents, those needs were not met. They weren't respected. They weren't fulfilled by our parents, or they didn't help us meet our needs, right? Now we know about physical needs, but if you don't know about emotional needs, go online, just Google emotional needs, you'll find a list. Now take a look at that list, especially in relation to your parents, to the difficult parent. What needs are not being met by both yourself and your parents? Now we need to try to meet our own needs first because quite often we can. There are many needs that we can meet on our own. But we also need the help of others because we're social animals. Everything is based on relationships. So our parents need to help us meet our needs even now. Now, when I think of needs and our parents, 3 needs come to mind that we have every right to ask them to help us meet. And that is acceptance, autonomy, and respect. Just for starters. Acceptance is obvious because they need to accept us for who we are. Autonomy is important, obviously, because we have the right to live our lives independently of our parents. And finally, respect. They need to respect our decisions that we make. And step number 4 is we need to establish healthy boundaries. Now, boundaries are these limits that we establish that keep others' behaviors from infringing upon ourselves. For example, say no to our parents who come over to our house uninvited. Now, if we haven't dealt with our own unresolved emotional issues, then saying no to our parents and establishing boundaries may be very difficult because we might feel guilty. We might be carrying the guilt and shame from the past into the present, making it very difficult to do so. Now, if parents don't respect those boundaries, we have every right to say, I'm sorry, I can't continue with our relationship for now until you do respect my wishes. The door is open. When you're ready, please come back and we can talk about it and then reestablish our relationship. Sometimes we need to be this firm, and the only way we're going to be able to do so with a difficult parent who refuses to respect our wishes is to stand on our own self-esteem and self-worth, which is why the previous steps are so important. In the end, it would be easy to dismiss a difficult parent, especially as we get older and not really wish to have any kind of a relationship with them, and we can't be blamed for that. But we need to be able to keep the door open because we never know what changes could happen with our parents and with ourselves. So what do you think about this life lesson in this movie? Feel free to leave comments below. And for more tips, movies, and life lessons, please go to my website, thezenofhollywood.com. That's thezenofhollywood.com. And please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. See you next time.